Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Managing Partners Podcast. My name is Kevin Daisey, and I'll be your host, also the founder of Array Digital. We help law firms grow through digital marketing. Today, I got a special guest coming out of North Carolina, also dealing in parts of South Carolina based on what I've looked at prior to the show. James Farrin, welcome to the show.
Thanks. Great to be here, Kevin.
Yeah, absolutely. So, again, thanks for joining us today to share a little bit more about your firm, what you're doing, how you're growing, what's worked well, what's not. And so for any attorney listening in, you're going to learn a lot from James here today. But keep in mind, we have episodes from spanning all kinds of different practices. Actually, James was talking about that in the beginning. Want to know if this was specific to personal injury. We've had plenty of people from all different areas, but we're hoping that from anyone on here, you can gain some knowledge, how you're running your firm, hiring employees, marketing tactics, and things like that I hope will cross many different practice areas. So, but today, James, specifically in personal injury. So we're excited to learn more about what you're doing and how you're growing and how you've been successful to date. So without further ado, my most important question is, tell us about yourself personally, and then we'll get into more about the firm and the work that you do.
Okay, thanks. I went to Duke Law School, which is why I ended up here in North Carolina. I had a journey to find my calling within the field of law. I started as a corporate litigator, actually out in California, didn't like it. And after several years of floundering around, I found something that I love doing, which was personal injury work. Started working for somebody else in a very small shop here in Durham. Found I loved it. I loved connecting with people, and I also liked the business side of things, in that I wasn't being paid by the hour, but by the results achieved, and that sort of motivated me. And I felt like my rewards were aligned with rewards I was achieving for clients. So I found I loved it and decided to go out on my own in 1997 with just me and one paralegal who quit shortly thereafter. So I didn't start to try to do anything big, just to hang out a shingle and do something I liked, which may be relatable for listeners. And once we found some success, it seemed to build on other success. And after a couple years, I kind of changed my mind and decided that the plan was going to be to grow the law firm, scale the law firm. And it moved me from more of a role where I was working on clients' cases into more of exclusively a managerial role where we sit today. And right now,
Excellent.
We've got, as you mentioned, 15 or so offices in North Carolina, one in South Carolina. We're by far the largest plaintiffs law firm in North Carolina, 64 attorneys, I think 280 people. And so it's an enterprise.
That's impressive. Very impressive. And you didn't start that way, right? You're like, oh, I'm just going to hang a shingle. Who's going with me? It was like, was it Jerry Maguire? You leaving the office and you had a paralegal go with you. So that's excellent. So, but you started by doing what you want to do versus being motivated by growth or money and revenue. But you naturally kind of took to say, hey, if I can help more people, I can grow. I mean, we need to grow.
Yeah.
So
my dad had an MBA and was a role model to me, and he was just a businessman. And so I think at some point that DNA kicked in. It's like, okay, I've got something here. I am loving what I'm doing, but now the challenge might be how to apply business principles and serve as many people as possible.
Absolutely. Love it. Yeah, there's so many other rewards too out of growing a business. And I can relate to you when I started my own business and left my corporate job years ago. And you hire more people, you help more people there, you help more customers, you can help them in their lives, and then of course your family and your employees' family. So by continuing to have a steady growth, then you're able to do more for everyone and have more opportunities for those folks as well. So there's a lot of good that comes with growing a business. So, well, your success so far is amazing. So. And then I'll just put it out there that I'm in Virginia, just a stone's throw away. So let me know when you decide to open an office over here. So
keep that in mind. So far, we've gone around North Carolina and then south, not north yet.
All right. I'll hold you to it. Well, so let's get in a little bit about how you've grown and what you've decided to do. So you have North Carolina pretty locked down. What has been something that's worked very well or been successful at growing, and from a marketing standpoint, or what is that thing that's really helped you get to where you're at?
Yeah, well, as you know, marketing is really the key to driving growth. You have to, in marketing, has to be built on a foundation of substance in terms of the quality of the work that you deliver. So it can't. I think that just marketing and not being able to deliver wouldn't lead to good results. But if just because you have good results doesn't mean you're going to be able to grow and scale at the rate you can unless you're really effective at marketing. And so I would like to think we've become effective at marketing. It's really multifaceted with our firm. We advertise on television and have for years. We use an agency who places our syndicated commercials around the state. I think TV, is still a strong medium, but it's being eroded just because the viewership is there are so many cord cutters, and with the rise of the internet, so we have to be strong in other ways. So we do a lot of internet marketing with spend a lot of time on our SEO, pay-per-click. We run local service ads. Direct mail is big for us in North Carolina. Not every state has favorable rules for in terms of access to public records for attorneys and being able to mail without a waiting list. But in North Carolina, the law is favorable and allows us to do direct mail, which has been a very effective vehicle for us. We also have an eminent domain practice, when I say we're personal injury, we're actually more, I guess the way I think of it is a plaintiff's practice, because there we're dealing with injured or damaged property owners, not with personal injuries. And so, but for those cases, we use a lot of direct mail to reach them. We also have billboards, not as many as some of our competitors, but we have billboards. So, I don't believe that just one channel is enough, that they all complement each other, and you have to have a comprehensive marketing strategy that utilizes all channels to varying degrees. So that's kind of what we've done.
No, I love it. And very good point there. I think it comes down to strategy, right? And not just the marketing, but how you're going to handle it, how you're going to grow, and how to bring all that stuff together. Because you got to be able to service the folks as you grow and market and kind of balance that, right? So also too, you don't want to just choose one thing and put all your eggs in one basket. It's definitely a strategy. In certain areas, billboards might work, mailers might work better. I know in Virginia, I'm pretty certain you can't do the direct mail.
That's correct.
Because I have there's actually a recent guest of ours. He's a friend of mine too. He's in here in Virginia, Dom Akari. He actually was, the movie A Few Good Men was created after him.
Right.
So he's Tom Cruise basically.
Yes. So,
but I know they have a big mailing in North Carolina, but they can't in Virginia. So I remember that little tidbit. So you got to be strategic, and you have to look at new ways to market. But not be always the first adopter necessarily, right? So TV's still working for you. You didn't just stop TV and go TikTok or one of those other things, right? It's good to try those things, but don't go cold turkey on things until you know that they're going to be effective.
Yeah. And I think a lot of times your point is right about being the first adopter, that you make a lot of mistakes along the way. And I actually think a lot of times I'd like to be second or third out of the gate and with a more refined strategy, whether that be on for any type of campaign.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's like R&D, right? It's good to have some maybe, hey, let's try this lightly. Let's see what it does, or see what it, and you're not wasting tons of money or resources, but maybe kind of seeing what the market's, what's happening with it. But to go all in on something brand new is risky. And I think, once you see some other ones be successful, then you can start to say, hey, and I think, it's a lot on this podcast. There's people that I got some older gentlemen that are crushing it on TikTok, and you look at them and you say, hey, how are they doing so well on TikTok? And they're talking about legal stuff, and they're doing very well, and they get a lot of clients from it, which is not you wouldn't think that normal, right? That you would get on TikTok and just be killing it. And but I think it's for everyone. If you dig in deep on a program or a platform, you can do well, and all of them can do well if you have the time and resources to spend on it. And so, I think some people they'll post on Facebook once a week and say, this doesn't work.
Yeah.
It takes more than that.
Well, personally, I'm hoping the TikTok phase goes away because I'm a terrible dancer, and I don't think my wife would enjoy seeing me all over social media. So I'm hoping I can sit this one out.
All right. Well, if I see you show up on my TikTok, Dan, I think I have TikTok app. I never load it. I don't even post anything on it. But I'm down with you on that one. So, but yeah, some people figure it out and they make it work, and some people are just fearless and don't care. They can just have fun, and that appeals to some folks. But I'm with you on that. So, I think podcasts are great and good. Share expert opinions and stuff like that. So, talking about some of the digital stuff you're doing, SEO, obviously a big space. Just kind of think about that right quick. Like, do you guys have individual offices and you got your local SEO, like your business listings for each of those? Is that how you have it set up? We have
Google My Business accounts, for all of our offices. We do central SEO though. We've used a combination of in-house resources and outside agencies historically, and that runs throughout our marketing department. We have a talented team in-house. If I've got great people in-house, I prefer that because I've got their focus and control. Problem is sometimes, especially in this environment, they move on to other pastures, and so I prefer an in-house solution. But when it doesn't work, it's great to have an agency step in and help us. So with SEO, we've done both, depending on if we've got a good in-house person. But it's a full-time position for us. Somebody who just spends time researching and working with our content writers to make sure that we're putting out good content that's going to drive up our search rankings.
Yeah, that's excellent. So, you got a huge advantage by having multi-locations because those local listings are very powerful. They usually go out a few miles, but on the SEO and the content, I mean, you guys are 60 some attorneys. Like, every client that we have of that size, they have internal. Like, you can't just rely on an agency at that point. Yeah. You have to have some focus.
Yeah, and I think having multiple offices can be a benefit, and it can hurt you because a big thing that drives a lot in the rankings, I believe these days, is a number of 5-star reviews. Mm-hmm. And what we were finding is, as large as we are, we get a number of 5-star reviews, but we weren't being strategic as to where we were allocating them. And so, it made it, and since we had so many offices to spread them to, it made it look like in some areas like we were not busy, or we weren't doing well in the rankings. So we've had to really adjust our strategy to push out more reviews to different areas.
That's a good point. That's a very good point. Because I've definitely seen people open up multiple offices, and then they're going to get a review back at their main headquarters, or probably like their main office, and not even think about that. So that's a good point. That would be challenging, actually. That's a good point. Well, my camera's gone blurry on me. That happened a minute ago. I'll switch over to you, and we'll talk about. So I really want to hear. You guys are already crushing it. You're in South Carolina. Is there any more future growth into South Carolina, other states? What's the next year to 5 years look like in your plan?
I believe in growth because I think if you stop growing, you start dying. So we're planning on continuing to grow. I'm a proponent of measured growth. As we were talking about earlier, you don't want to lose that foundation of quality work. And if you're growing too quickly, it can be a huge challenge to keep, you have to have the staff and the systems in place to handle the case as well. And so what we try to do is grow at a targeted rate of 15% a year, which I think is aggressive, but it's still something that historically we've been able to handle. So to grow 15% a year, we'll just raise our marketing budget by say 15% a year. And then how do we spend it? Will we go into other markets or new practice areas? It really depends on where we think the best opportunities are. And good opportunities for us are ones that are consistent with our knowledge and resources and mission, and have good economic potential for return on investment.
That's a great answer. So very thought through, right? And you're very calculated in what you're doing and what your approach is. So I think that's important for people to hear, is that you don't just say, oh, I like this place, let's just open an office there, or I want to add this other practice area just because this person has that capability, but really having a plan and a strategy behind everything you're doing.
Yeah, so. And sometimes we'll test something and go small. What's the phrase? Fire bullets and then cannonballs, from Jim Collins taught us. But a small pilot test can give you a lot of information as to whether an idea is likely to be successful, and then you can ramp it up. But I really like the idea of starting small with anything, testing it, watching it, and if you're encouraged, then you go big.
I love that. So another thing too, I got this from a previous guest, that a young guy, not a large, just maybe one staff member, very small, but he had spent the time to learn SEO because he was trying to grow, and he was a one person one attorney. And so he had done a lot of effort just to figure out, hey, how can I get leads and how can I grow? And so he was actually using that knowledge he built up. And for you could just go to your marketing team to say, do the research on an area in the state or a city or a town, and look at the rankings and look at the competition. And then through some analysis, you can kind of see, okay, say if all the personal injury firms have very low star ratings, or they don't have a lot of them, then you could say, well, that might be easy to scoop up. And what's the organic look like? Are they old websites that don't have a lot of good content? A good way to come in and rank easily for those areas. So he was kind of using that kind of research on SEO to decide on that next location, which I thought was pretty interesting. Yeah. Versus just market data and things like that, or office location, what the traffic in the area is, or and things like that. So I thought that was pretty cool. Actually, we're helping a client open a fourth office, and we're doing just that. So it's kind of, where are they going to put the office at? Where are they thinking? We can do a little research prior to that to make the best decision possible. Versus beside another high-ranking personal injury firm, maybe it's a few blocks away. So really cool. So I love the fact that you really have down the strategy and plan ahead, and you can kind of spit that out. So is there anyone that you've kind of looked up to, mentors? Morgan and Morgan. I've read his book, and myself, and it's got a lot of good stuff in there. So is there anything like how you've learned, or anyone that you've looked up to along this journey?
Well, I certainly have read John Morgan's books and heard him speak, and he's certainly engaging and powerful, and runs a great firm. In terms of who I would count as role models, I'm a member of a mastermind, what's called a mastermind group, and there are a dozen or so of us.
Awesome.
And the criteria for being in this group is you have to have recovered over $1 billion for clients. So those folks, I learned something from them. We get together a couple times a year, and just because they've got big marketing budgets, have tried lots of things, have a track record of success. So I've learned a lot from my fellow members of that group.
That is awesome. So attorneys listening, young attorneys, find either mentors or look for mastermind groups. I've been in mastermind groups myself. We are in some as well for what we do, or just in general, entrepreneurs. So maybe it's local. There's usually local groups like Entrepreneurs Organization. So if you can't find something like James has here, you at least surround yourself with other entrepreneurs that you might be able to learn from. But nothing is more powerful than being in a group of owners that also are in the personal injury space in non-competing states, right? So that is probably the best thing you can do if you can find a group or create a group. That, James, is this something that you kind of formed? Is this something that was established and you joined?
I was invited in. I was a joiner.
You got a black car sent to your house and a hood over your head. Well, that's excellent. So, and is this a private group? No one really knows about this kind of group?
Yeah, it's a private group.
Excellent. I know there are other groups out there for everyone listening. There's PILMA, which I think is in the personal injury space. And then you got How to Manage a Small Law Firm, which is a great group. It's not necessarily mastermind. I guess they do have some coaching groups, but nothing but good things about that group. And especially for those that are starting out in the $250,000 per year and up, just a way to get your legs underneath you, and they offer a ton of assistance there. So, and then one day, hopefully, can be invited to James's group. Well, that's awesome. That's a good point. Just before I ask the next question, I was going to let everyone know, check out James's website just to see what they're all about. You can see all their team members on there. You can see all the practice areas that they do cover. But Farrin.com, it's www.farrin.com, Farrin.com, if you're listening on the podcast. But go take a look at it, see what he's built. I mean, it's really impressive. I know you've heard here what he's been able to accomplish, but I think there's a lot to learn by going there and probably, take a look at what he's done, content, the things that they invested in. It's impressive. So, James, anything else you would really like to add to anyone listening? What's something that you would tell them to say they're a young attorney, they're just starting their firm, they've set up shop? What's something that you would tell that person to, especially in the personal injury space?
Related to what we touched on earlier, I think it's awfully important that you're passionate about what you do, that you do stay in touch with the clients and their needs, and your heart is in. If my first 5 years out of law school, I wanted to be successful. I had ambition, but it wasn't married to meaning. And so I think making sure that if you're in this space, I think you'll be successful if the foundation is that you really like what you're doing and you're passionate about helping clients. And then having done that, I think then to grow a firm, you're going to have to apply business principles and marketing, which we've talked about today. And it's the combination of effective marketing and good management plus passion for what you do can lead to great things.
That's a good recipe right there. So you have to have all those things. Yeah, you want to make money or you want to be successful, but it doesn't really come until you start to give back and you care about what you do, and then your employees, your team, your clients. You got to take care of all those things. So, and it's a lot. It's overwhelming sometimes, but this has to be done if you want to really be successful and to have things organically grow. And you have 60 some attorneys. I mean, why would they want to follow you, James? Or why would they want to be behind you and growing with you, right? That they believe in what you're doing. They know you care and that you take care of the clients, but you're also going to take care of them. So if you do all those things right, marketing is a lot easier too, if you can get those things in place, because your whole team's marketing for you. When someone does call and they hear that person on the other side and how they interact with you, it's just going to, it's going to come out from everywhere of your business. So yeah, I love it. Yeah. Well, I appreciate you sharing everything today. You've had some great success. I'm sure you're going to continue to do that and crush those goals. And so I appreciate you coming on today to share with us. Anything else you want to share, James, before we go?
No, I've enjoyed talking about these things. I'm passionate about it, and I appreciate the opportunity. If anybody has a question, or if I can be of help to anyone, you can reach me by email. It's probably the best, and that's jfarrin, Farrin, the letter J, Farrin, at Farrin.com.
Excellent. That's pretty easy. So yes, please connect with James. I always encourage attorneys listening in, connect with each other, reach out to each other. James is happy to probably answer any questions you have. You might be looking for a mentor. Maybe it's James, maybe not, but look at the episodes, reach out to these folks. We have a newsletter that goes out that everyone's on. So these episodes will be shared every week, but happy to reach out. If you don't know someone's contact information, reach out to me and I'm happy to connect with you. But share referrals. Maybe you're in a different state. Maybe you have someone that is in North Carolina or South Carolina that you can connect with James. So, and vice versa. So help each other, reach out to each other. This isn't a mastermind, but you can treat it as if, it's a resource for you. So James, thanks so much again. Everyone tuning in. This episode will be edited and live soon. Obviously, if you're watching it now, it's already out. But if you're listening to this now, you can check this out anytime you need to in the future. It's going to be on every single podcasting platform out there. It's also going to be on YouTube and our website. James will have a feature spot on our website. To find him too, you can search the toggles. You can just filter by personal injury in North Carolina, and you'll be able to see him and others that we've had on the show. So please check that out. And if you need any help with marketing, James has already done such a great job. He's got the in-house. He's got agencies where it needs heavy lifting, but it's the strategy that's really important. If you have questions for marketing for us, me, reach out, arraylaw.com. Happy to help you and answer any questions you have. So, James, thanks so much. Anything else? We'll get you out of here.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
All right, everyone. We'll have a good day, and we'll see you soon. James, you stick on with me, and I'll talk to you backstage.